The views and opinions expressed on this program are solely those of the host and guest and do not reflect the opinions or policies of the station, its owners, or its advertisers. All content should be considered editorial in nature. Listener discretion is advised.
Recorded live from the radio studios of WFAY and WMRV, Androlonis Media presents Cumberland County's smartest hour of talk radio. Welcome back to another edition of the Carolina Cabinet.
Well, everyone, good morning and welcome to the Carolina Cabinet. I'm Peter Pappas. I'll be your host this morning. We are proud to be the only homegrown conservative talk radio show in this region, and we know this is the smartest hour of radio. Our job is to give a voice to the conservatives of Fayetteville, Cumberland County, and beyond. This morning in the Cabinet, we welcome host of the Cabinet, Pastor Joshua Goodman.
Good morning, family.
Good morning. Semone Pemberton.
Good morning.
Welcome.
Yes.
And Ms. Carrie J. It's so good to have y'all in here this morning. As we dive into our show, we appreciate you tuning in and spending time with us. Please take a moment to like, share, or follow us on Facebook and look for us at thecarolinacabinet.com. And you can find links to our shows and how to listen on your favorite podcast broadcaster. So don't go far. We'll be right back.
Since 2012, Joshua Goodman has been the senior pastor at the Cliffdale Christian Center, a dynamic church and ministry located in West Fayetteville. Join our friend Pastor Goodman for a podcast or a live sermon in person at 6427 Cliffdale Road. Now for today's good news. Here is Joshua Goodman.
Well, good morning from the All-American City. This is Pastor Josh, and have I got some good news for you. In a time when so many want to unpack, talk about, discuss all the problems, circumstances, and situations, all the negative junk, I'm here to give you some good news. The Apostle Peter writes in his first epistle to the churches in Asia Minor, "Therefore gird up the loins of your mind, be sober, and rest your hope fully upon the grace that is brought to you at the revelation of Jesus Christ." I love that statement, gird up the loins of your mind. You know, Paul writes to us in his epistle to the church at Ephesus that we are to take the helmet of salvation, the breastplate of righteousness, have our feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace, the shield of faith, the sword of the Spirit, and also to have our loins girt about with truth. Let's change gears for a moment real quick. I can make an assumption that most every day, most all of us get up and we get dressed. We brush our teeth, we brush our hair. Some of you ladies out there may spend a good bit of time doing your makeup or perhaps painting your nails. The point is this, that we spend a good amount of time on our physical appearance. We don't often take into account our mental appearance. We don't take the time we ought to take to gird up the loins of our mind. Mind is defined from the Greek as meaning our mind, our will, and our emotions. Now, I want you to pay very close attention to my next statements because we so often can allow our minds to go in so many different directions. We have so many things to think about: news, social media, games, movies, music, you name it. All of these things vying for our attention. And I got to be honest with you, some are not coming with good intentions. There are many coming with bad intentions. But I'm not here just to address the problem, but I'm also here to give you the solution. The Apostle Peter later on in that verse says that we can rest our hope fully upon the grace that is brought to us at the revelation of Jesus Christ. Friend, today you need to know that if you are to gird up the loins of your mind, if you're going to protect your mental capacity, then you've got to begin to rest in the hope that we find in grace that God has given us through his only begotten Son, Jesus Christ. Well, friends, this is Pastor Josh, and that is your good news.
News, weather, sports, and common sense talk in the morning. Grab another cup of coffee and settle in for more of the Carolina Cabinet. Eastern North Carolina's sexiest conservative talk show.
That's for you, Pastor Josh.
For
That
my
is
son's
you.
son.
That is for your son. Okay, for your
For
son.
my son.
Okay. So welcome back. I'm Peter Pappas. I'm here with Pastor Josh. Semone with an E. Pemberton. So good to see you again.
Yes,
I was going to have to send out
an APB or something,
like,
right?
Yeah, like put her on milk cartons. I
I've
think.
only
so, you know.
missed 2 weeks.
Are you sure?
Yes.
I'm gonna have to go to the tape on that one.
Go
I
to
think-
the tape.
I feel like it's been 3, but it's okay. I mean,
No.
we even gained a new associate producer.
That is true.
Yes.
And I'm just meeting
Well,
her for the
it
Come here,
might-
Jim.
time.
It
There he
actually
is.
might
There he
be.
is. Okay.
I think it might be over 3 because
think-
Okay,
I was
ma'am.
here
Yeah. See?
3 weeks ago.
Well, and I wanted to welcome
Carrie.
back Miss
And I-
Carrie J.
I
as
missed-
well.
I
you
missed-
know.
Yeah, let's
Listen.
welcome her right now
Yeah,
while
yeah.
she's
Let's
talking.
welcome her.
I'm
I
always
love
here,
you,
so, yeah.
Simone. You
I'm
know,
sorry, I got distracted.
go-
Oh my
I'm.
gosh.
we tag team together a lot in the community,
Yes.
and I.
So
you
we're
know.
on the same side. We should be.
Should be.
Yes.
Try to be, right?
So we
Yeah.
might be missing at the same times,
Yep,
maybe.
There you go. There you go.
Well,
So I'm missing for a good cause.
Yes, you're missing for a good cause. You're definitely a very diligent worker. I will give you that. And I
Whoop,
know
whoop.
that
Thank you.
you're not just out there goofing off. You've
Right.
got a
Hanging
lot
out
going on. Yeah,
in the
hanging
sun.
out, getting in trouble. So
Right.
we got a lot to talk about. I'm just going to run through this real quick,
Yeah.
and then we can dig into it. So first thing I had to do was DOGE gone mad. Anybody keep track of everybody's heads exploding? With,
Over
with
the
the
Elon
Department of
and
Government
Doge.
Efficiency. So we'll talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, there's a lot to talk about there. It's like,
ICE,
woo.
ICE arresting 1,200 people in
Uh-huh.
one day last week. Trump revoked Biden's security clearance. I don't know if y'all saw that.
But that
little
is,
Not
tidbit.
surprising.
well, I want to
Well,
discuss it more.
we'll-
Yeah,
yeah,
we'll
we
get there.
will.
We'll get there.
And the last thing is we have a lot of local news, such as the GOP convention coming on March 8th.
Yeah.
So, and we're actually going to have some guests come on about that. So, lots of stuff. So, where do you want to start? Doge?
No, let's start with our week because we
Okay.
always start with the week.
Okay,
So
let's
your
go
week,
with the week.
Peter, how was your week, man? What
My
you
week?
been up to?
Oh, man. What have I been up to? I don't know, Jim. We've been in the kitchen a lot. So
Midget wrestling,
So,
you know.
okay, so all right, you're
I
gonna
don't
go
know.
right there. All right,
Wrestling.
all right. First of all, I heard the
have
sound
never
of my
heard of this.
people.
Yeah.
So
Never.
the clarion call
The
of my
clarion-
people. Yeah. So if I was
didn't
big
think of
just
that.
once.
Yeah,
Doesn't
right.
justify it.
So that's one of my favorite Joe Pesci lines.
Yeah.
You know, when he was in Goodfellas and he's talking about getting bing, bang,
Yeah.
boom, and then he says, you know, I wish I was. Anyway.
Yeah.
So, yes, there was a midget wrestling event
Yes.
allegedly at,
Allegedly.
off of
Allegedly.
Bragg Boulevard.
That was very well attended, I heard.
like over 200 people.
That's
at this
crazy.
thing. And so
Oh
here's
my
the thing.
gosh.
I'm not a Super Bowl guy.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was like, well, midgets wrestling. That what
can
more
go
could
wrong
you
here?
want? I mean, I don't quite feel that it was the religious experience that the promoter
Did
told
you
me I
really
was going to
just say
have.
religious
No.
experience?
No, I go to pay
He
the
did.
ticket,
Out
and the
of
guy,
the-
and the
in the
guy
same
says,
breath.
"Have you
Like
ever
the
seen
same
midgets
breath.
wrestling?" I was like, "No." He goes, "It's a religion." I mean, he said something else, but it's a religion. I was like, "All right, man." I mean, he was a
Look,
normal.
You're not going to join
you
any
know,
cult following.
No,
You
no,
know.
no. Those guys are fierce.
midget
I wouldn't want to
wrestling.
be in the ring with those little dudes, man.
Yeah.
They not just.
I saw Nacho Libre.
Yeah.
They had the two little dudes in that. You know.
Is I don't remember. Did you see the mask? Okay, so I did take Jim. As
El Luchador.
We call it a. So I invited
Jim was
people.
there?
I
You-
invited
oh.
other
He
people.
seems so innocent.
And I said, if you need an excuse for the wife, tell him it's a team building
So,
exercise.
Simone,
No.
Simone, Jim has been around Peter for
4
like
years.
the past
4 years.
Yeah.
4 years. So
Yeah, but he's actually been around Peter like the past.
3 weeks.
Yeah. yeah.
Right. And has been corrupted that
Oh,
quickly.
boy.
Wow.
He, you know what? I unfortunately, I'm afraid he was already corrupted. We just somehow found each other in the working world.
Like
Yeah.
like
He said-
two ships passing in
Yeah,
the night.
pretty much. Yeah.
That's what
So anyway, so midget wrestling. I did not watch the Super Bowl.
No.
I have yet to watch the commercials. Somebody's gonna put those together. I think
does
on
that
YouTube.
qualify as
Probably so,
DEI?
but I saw both, and I mean, I didn't see any
Probably.
commercials that like were
Did you
like
see
great.
any commercials from Doge?
I didn't. I heard there were going to be,
There were going to be,
Yeah.
and then
and I
didn't
looked
either.
for them, but
Nobody
I
saw
didn't
it.
see
Of
any.
course, I stopped watching at a certain point because I believe
So who
in
was your
red.
team?
Yeah,
I'm a red fan
Okay.
all
Yeah.
the time.
Why? Because Taylor Swift's boyfriend's on it.
No.
No?
What do you mean? I'm from
Okay.
Kansas City. What
I
are you
don't know.
talking about?
Okay, all right. So you have a reason,
I have a
vested
reason.
interest.
Yes.
Okay. Seeing your boys win. And
Mahone.
they got
Do you think
okay.
Mahone's seen his best days? Is he done?
No, he's not done. His team let him down.
They
I'll tell
compared
you
him-
what, his defensive line.
Yeah,
I
they
mean,
let him down.
Or
They let
offensive
him
line.
down. Offensive line.
Yeah.
They did
Yeah.
compare him to Tom Brady, though.
Yeah, I mean-
Well, that should be a
Like
The
compliment.
Buccaneers are always looking
no,
for a good
the
quarterback.
numbers as far as like losing, I don't know.
Oh.
It wasn't
Yeah,
a good
no,
thing.
No,
he's
no.
It
still
wasn't
got
a
some.
good.
He's still good.
They said he
Okay,
should go with
so-
Allstate because State Farm obviously couldn't keep him covered.
Well,
Dun-dun-tsh.
did we have any Eagles fans in the room?
So-
how
Probably
did her.
her.
How did their mayor
No,
spell it?
I am an
E
NFC.
L
Yeah, that was
G L S.
yeah,
Did you
yeah.
see the mayor from
Yeah.
Philadelphia?
He didn't
Yeah.
do well.
He didn't do well.
She no, it was a woman.
And I told him,
Oh,
I'm
it was
like,
a
there's
woman?
there's
Yeah.
going to be some cars turned over and people
Oh, yeah.
climbing up to the top of
I
telephone
told,
poles
I
and
told
stuff.
Jim, stay tuned.
Yeah.
Whether they win or lose, they're
So-
going to destroy their downtown.
Something's going to
They
come
did
down.
take a
Getting
poll,
Yeah.
and
Did
they
they?
burned the linen truck
Well,
from the hotel.
aren't we so happy
Well,
that we
that's
know how to
great.
act?
That's tame. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
tame for
That's
Philly.
very-
I mean,
Yeah, it's tame.
You
So
know,
we should
it's
be
very
grateful in the
awesome.
lack of
yeah.
major destruction.
We had some hardcore Philly fans
Okay,
at our
all
at
right.
our party.
Well, Carrie, were you pulling for anybody?
No, I mean, no, I wasn't pulling for anybody. My team actually went home a couple of weekends
Oh.
ago.
Okay.
Are
But
you
we
a
did go. I am
Warriors
a,
fan?
I am a
or
Redskins.
Commanders? Yeah, Commanders.
I am a burgundy and gold Redskins. Hail to the Redskins.
Can you still say Redskins?
I
Yes,
don't
I
think
can
so.
still
I thought
And
that
brag?
was
I can
Yeah.
say-
Generals, or what are they now?
the Commanders.
Commanders.
Yeah, the
yeah,
Commanders.
It's
Commanders.
okay. Hail to all DC. How about that?
Hmm.
Okay.
I had a bone to pick with DC because I mean Washington's who knocked my Buccaneers out, so I was a little bit.
Oh, okay.
I was
It's
a
and
little-
it's okay.
I was
It's
a
all
little-
right. You know, we can all be celebrating, and we can celebrate. You know,
Yeah.
for the NFC.
Yeah.
You know, I turned on the Super Bowl for all of 5 minutes.
For the halftime
and
show?
No, I didn't watch the halftime show until just
A
not
little
too
bit
long
of controversy about that too.
Oh,
But,
huge
I didn't
controversy
even
about that.
No,
include it in
there's
our
not.
notes today, but it was
Yeah.
All right,
Well,
just-
what's the
but what-
controversy
did-
you're talking about?
I
something
saw-
about somebody got called out as a pedo file.
Oh wait, are you
Oh, well,
are you
that's an
serious? Like you don't
ongoing-
even know
That's
what it?
That's like been ongoing for
That's
like a whole
ongoing.
year.
Okay, so that's not new.
That's the
And
whole
so that-
thing. They're
That
not like
somebody
us.
is actually Drake.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so actually they're trying to think if this is going to actually interfere with, the whole Canadian American thing that's going on
Oh,
because he
Lord.
is a
You mean
Canadian
adopting the
American.
51st state
It's not
I
going
of
to
don't
these
know.
United States?
I don't think it has anything to do with it because
This is a
It
rap
was-
war.
Guys,
Yeah,
I am
and it was
so
it
out
was
of
very,
touch
but it was
with
probably the
pop
most
culture.
political Super Bowl. It was
Show?
definitely politically charged.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I
did like the addition of Samuel L. being Uncle Sam, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I'm a Samuel L. fan, so that's
Yeah.
just me.
Who isn't? Yeah.
I mean it's
Yeah. I mean, if you
It was
look at
great.
all of the and this is the 2 cents, because I know you're not really a fan, and nor am I. I mean, I am a fan of
Kansas.
Mahone, Kansas City. Who?
no
Kendrick
Lamar.
Lamar.
Oh, Kendrick Lamar. I'm like, what are
I would have to admit I don't know who that is.
I
so
know.
It's
know.
okay.
So
White
had you
boy.
watched the Super Bowl instead of
Okay.
hanging out with
midgets?
Midget.
It doesn't
I
win
didn't
over.
say
It doesn't,
that.
it doesn't win over little people
on
fighting.
the, on
I-
the back corner.
Those
of
dudes
Black
get
Boulevard.
vicious.
oh my gosh.
You can't
Anyway,
imagine you see a little 3-foot something
Why
coming
is
at
he
you with
talking
their
Yeah, I don't know.
teeth.
So
We're-
Kendrick,
go ahead.
we're
we've
at
got
Kendrick.
to be
Kendrick.
offending
Okay.
a lot of people, I'm sure.
Hopefully.
But
I'm telling
anyway,
you, I threw the DEI flag a long time ago.
yeah,
Yeah.
I
Oh.
know you did. Well,
Five-yard
anyway,
penalty.
if you read the summary of all of the symbolism that was in that performance, it was incredible. So
Okay.
Kendrick Lamar is the only rap artist who has won a Pulitzer
Oh, it's
Prize.
one of Pulitzer Prize, which is
Yeah.
amazing. I mean,
It
that's
is.
that's
It's incredible. And if you listen to his lyrics, now I don't listen to that music, but if you listen to his lyrics,
Mhm.
there's depth. There's,
Okay.
I mean, he's incredible the way he does it. So all of the way that he was petty in his destroying of Drake.
I don't know
last
anybody
night.
that does stuff like that,
No,
especially in their own
I know.
performances.
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah.
who.
I don't know
Yeah.
who would do that.
I don't
yeah.
know.
There,
Why-
there
why
were
would
like
they take
lines under
advantage?
lines under lines in
Yes,
his
it was
lyrics.
so
it was
good.
it was like
I'm just
oh.
recording it, even though I know it's online. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm going to record this so I
Yep.
can watch it back immediately
Yeah.
because I know that there's so much
There's
in
Just
it.
so
to
much
give
in there.
context, I do believe that Drake song came out before President Trump was even charged as a felon.
Okay.
Oh, I don't
So,
know.
Yeah.
I think like just to give context to go how far back.
Well,
that
maybe
Oh.
I need to
song
break
goes.
it down, get the lyrics, and then I'll
Yeah.
report back.
The
so
main
I'll
thing
know what the
is,
heck I'm talking about.
he won. Lamar won for
He won?
sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Drake,
There is a,
Drake
there
is a better
civil-
commercial.
Yeah, there is
um,
a civil suit, but I
Not
think
against
it's-
Kendrick Lamar though.
No, it's not.
Yeah, which is interesting. Not defamation against the one who called you a pedophile. Not that. Yeah. I'm just saying.
Woo. Like we said, it was very politically
It
charged.
was, it was something.
It was.
It was something. Anyway.
Was
All
not
right.
impressed with the commercials. That's me.
I did like the Jesus Knows Us one.
I-
Did you
yeah,
see that
I
one?
did.
That was
I did.
beautiful.
That was good. That
And
was
I'm
good.
glad that they were there.
Also, very interested in the Scorsese short series that's coming out about the Saints.
Right.
You know,
I've
he's
seen
got
that.
this series. Number one, I'm a
I
huge
missed that.
Scorsese fan,
Mhm.
but he's going to have it like on John the Baptist, Joan of Arc, Sebastian. Assisi, but just, I mean, all of these great men and women
Wow.
throughout history, their life and their death and the way they were martyred and all those things. So yeah, it
Wow.
promises to be, pretty good. I
Yeah.
think.
And that was a commercial?
So it was a commercial for the mini series. It's going to be like an 8-part mini series, not till like November or something.
Oh,
But
okay.
again, the fact that you have Scorsese directing it and
Right.
it's about these
Quality.
great men and women throughout
Mhm.
history, I think it's going to be really.
That must have come on when I turned the game off.
Oh,
Yeah.
I did. So
Well,
at the
I-
fourth
like I
quarter, I
said, I
finally shut it
only-
off.
I only
At the fourth
watched
quarter,
it.
I was like, I'm
Oh, no,
done.
I shut it off after halftime.
Oh, I mean, your boys made a
No, I
comeback.
saw it.
I mean,
Uh,
they
well,
made.
They
when I
weren't
say
gonna come
after
back, though.
halftime, it was once they started coming back and they lost it again. I'm
Yeah.
like, you know what, I'm
I'm
done.
emotionally
I'm done.
drained. I can't
Yeah,
take anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was too much.
Well, I mean,
But-
in the
It's
end,
too
it
much.
was like 40-22. I mean, they made
At
some
least
strides.
they put some points on the.
Yeah, at least they did.
it was too much.
Because it was
They did a
threatening to
great
be
job.
like the greatest loss in
Right,
Super Bowl
right.
history. It wasn't,
Embarrassing.
but it was
Yeah,
threatening
I
to be.
know.
Mm.
Well, on to basketball now. Final four. Yeah, I mean, it's like, all right, that's out of the way. So, okay. So, DOGE gone mad. Department of Government Efficiency, run by Mr. Elon Musk, the unelected official, who's classified as a specialized government employee. Is that what? Anybody see that? He does.
Specialized.
Mhm.
He's an employee.
He's an employee of the federal government now.
Uh-huh.
Basically, he's been deputized so that he can get in and do what he needs to do.
He's an employee.
He's
Yeah.
an employee, and so a lot of my liberal friends on Facebook have been back and forth with me, and a lot of what I told them was like, guys, just take a breath.
Yeah.
And why are you mad at the guy finding the waste instead of the people that wasted it?
Yeah.
Right.
You know,
That's it.
the shell. But I did have one friend, and I do want to point out something she said, and it made me think. Believe it or not, I do that from time to time. The observation was that, are these misuse of funds, or is it just stuff that we disagree with?
Well, I think a lot of it, I mean, if you look at some of the stuff, right, the stuff he's auditing, like one of the things I saw he's put into place is this a system where if you are getting government funds, then you have to be able to say why. You used to be able to keep the comments.
Transparency.
Yep, you used to be able to leave that blank, but now
you mean
you
at the Treasury, he's making them put that
Yeah.
extra field?
just an extra
Yeah.
field to say, hey, what is this money for?
Right.
And then another field that gives validation. Okay, so what is it for? Now, why is it for?
Mhm.
Right.
I mean, who wouldn't want that? I mean, that's not a political view.
Well,
that's
I think
just
the
accountability.
number was $100 billion a year is going out, and the consensus in the room of that group was half of it's fraud.
yeah,
Right.
So that's $1
right.
billion with a B per week
And we have so much debt.
that going out. Forget the debt. If we just
But
held
if we-
on to what we had.
That's what I'm saying. We already have so much debt, and we're sending money
Yep.
somewhere else, and it's fraud.
Yep.
Well, and see,
Or
that's the
we're-
part
or
about
we're
do
not
I disagree
spending-
with it or is it wasteful? See, so think about it. I don't want to hear about funding DEI
USAID buying
in
tents
like
for
Vietnam or
the condoms.
Yeah, or
50 million for condoms,
Well,
or
it
whatever
wasn't
that
50,
number.
actually that
What
was that was more like 50,000. I think
50,000.
It
okay.
was less, but I
Yeah.
hope they're making they're sending medium condoms over there and marking them American small.
Yeah.
So just to scare everybody.
Propaganda.
That would be worth it. I say we keep the condoms. you
No,
know.
dude. No.
But no, there was just stuff
well, and there's
that
so much.
I don't agree with
Yeah.
paying out. But is it wasteful?
But if you, okay, think of it this way. Let's not even look at the government right now. If you in your household, if you are having trouble paying your bills,
Mhm.
would you pick one of these weird expenses to instead use your money for instead of paying your bills or taking care of your household?
I'll add to that example. I have a hard time feeding my family. I don't, but say I did. Would I go out and buy ribeye steaks to feed to my dog?
Right.
Yeah. It's just
Or
like
to your
why-
neighbor.
That's a
or
good
to my
one.
neighbor. Yeah.
Okay.
Why would I? Again, the political things we can negotiate. Let's talk
Right.
about. Let's communicate. But when you got things that are not political, that are just simply waste,
Right.
or where is that money going? Then those things. Okay, let's have a discussion on. If we just got rid of the waste, it would be billions of dollars.
Well, one of the common things we hear whenever we talk about government money, or especially from employees, and I'm not calling out anyone specifically, but you hear it in the circle, is, oh, just go buy it.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not conscientious of how much money you're spending when we're talking about government money.
Yeah.
or
Well, on the
federal
flip side,
dollars
you're
or
also
city dollars.
encouraged to spend every
Right.
dime.
Yeah. If
Every
you don't
day.
spend,
budget.
You'll
use
lose
it or
it.
lose
you,
it.
You
Yep.
don't get the same budget the following year
Right.
because you can operate for less.
Right.
Anyway, I was just glad that one of my friends gave me a moment of a little pause, like, well, is it really waste? Is it, what's waste versus, well, I just don't agree with.
Yep.
And what bothers me is that there is some bill or law that's been passed to fund this crap.
And never. So it's been passed to fund it with an open date.
Right.
For it's
Never
like
ending.
I don't.
Yeah, never
I don't think
ends.
it's an open date. Like, I would like to say that. I mean, is it good that there is enforcement to all of the FSMA and other security standards and information security standards
There's got
that have been out there for over the
Well-
past decade, as far as when it comes down to governance, risk, and compliance? Like, all of those, all of the agencies, whether they are 3 letters, 4 letters, or are they, if they're in support of those 3 letters or 4 letters, they have all been under strict guidelines to do some type of and set up some type of risk and compliance and governance that would actually do exactly what you're saying, tag and identify and do those trace marks. The thing is that if I do those trace marks and you find out that it was bogus, like you find out that I have created fraud,
Right.
now I'm going to and then lose that money. Or if I don't use, you know what I'm saying, I have worked as a military member, being a part of the DOD. I have worked for the DOD as a government civilian. I have worked with quasi-government entities as a contractor. And I can't say that there's a place that I haven't gone where there isn't something that would qualify as.
And we do have Office of Inspector General. We have we have mechanisms built into our government for fraud. But I think with Elon Musk and Trump, what we're seeing is a different viewpoint and maybe an overall view that's like, look, this just doesn't look right.
Yeah.
Like, because everybody in the government is doing their little corner of the world, and Trump and Musk are looking at, well, the overall picture. Like, one thing I saw, there's in South Africa, we're paying for AIDS clinics and stuff like that. And it's like, wait a minute. Isn't South Africa kind of industrialized?
Yep.
Aren't they? They're not exactly the
No, they're
the
they-
most impoverished
no.
they're
countries
far
in
from
Africa.
it. Far from it.
Why are we sending them money for their medical issues?
Yeah.
I mean,
President Trump just asked to make some of them refugees.
Right.
So
Right.
I
What do you mean?
I don't know. He actually did an act proposing that they get refugee status, South Africans, and they denied it. They were like, listen, but we're going to stay in South Africa and deal with our own issues with our own people
well,
on
and
our
I
own
think
terms.
if there's a government that's halfway organized and they have the
They have the ability to do it.
not
Yeah.
an impoverished. I mean,
No.
I'm sure there are people in poverty.
There
but
are, but yeah,
why? I get that in the 1980s
apartheid and all those
we
things were
wanted to
taking place.
help
Yep.
the people that were not paid attention to, but it's 2025.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I mean, I the whole banishment of apartheid, Nelson Mandela, that all needed to take place. But they are an industrialized nation. And so I think a lot of those problems, they, should look to fix for themselves. That's part of being your own nation. Take responsibility for it. And my thing, again,
And I
doesn't
think
even...
they are doing that.
Yeah.
That's what that was their reply to President Trump.
My thing too is that so they have all these funds allocated, budgets set, use it or lose it. But and I know we have, like you said, the Inspector General and but
Supposed to.
Supposed to.
Supposed to.
but it's like, if it's illegal to call a pig Napoleon in France, then who's enforcing that?
Okay.
Here. And I think that's what Elon, and we may not agree with the way he's doing it, but at least he's doing something.
Well,
Yeah.
he did send, what was it, to 2 million federal employees. He sent basically justify your existence or you can resign and
Yeah.
get paid by September. That's how much he feels that we have waste.
Yep. And he's given them till September. I mean,
Yeah.
again, if any of my bosses were to come to me and I couldn't say what I am doing as employment there, if I served no purpose for being there, and he's going to pay me till September,
Right.
Okay.
Time to pop smoke.
Yeah.
Well, I even personally had a USAID worker as a friend on my Facebook, and so when you start hearing about how it's personally affecting the people that we know,
Yeah.
Let me.
but then again, I was like, well, get a real job.
Yep.
Like,
Let me.
and I mean,
So
she
nobody's going
is
to like
over,
this.
and she is over in the African continent
Yep.
helping.
So was
people.
I got vast experience overseas, having utilized USAID, Haiti, from the time I was a kid. during the earthquake. Again, countless hurricanes
Sure.
throughout Central and South America. We brought aid into all of those places. So I've got a level of experience with that. But what unfortunately people don't understand is that so often, so much of whatever those supplies are, do not. You see, we're naive. We think, okay, we're sending a bag of rice and a bag of beans, and magically that turns into rice and beans on a poor Haitian's plate. No, it's given away, and then people in the government sell it to other people who go out on the street and sell it. And it's like, you don't understand the level of.
I'm seeing Jim nod in agreement.
Yeah.
Over here
And Jim,
Yeah.
I'm sure he knows. Like when I would go buy rice and beans in Haiti, it was sold from USAID bags.
Right.
You know, I'd go buy a number 10 can full of rice, a number 10 can full of beans, and realizing that, hey, and you want to know the kicker? Don't even get me on my soapbox. So number one, that food was not given away.
Well, it wasn't given away to the people. It was given
Exactly.
to the government to
yep.
administer, to give.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
you have corruption.
Yep, but you got corruption, and you could buy a number 10 can of American USAID rice for like a third of what you could buy local grown rice and beans.
Sure.
Wow.
I mean, so not only, that's so
That's-
wrong on
that's
so many
no-
levels.
that's no
That's
different
totally
than-
messing up the infrastructure.
You know, I told you all before, there's food trucks that I know of here in town.
Uh-huh.
They use EBT to supply those trucks.
Oh yeah, yep.
Hey, good for them. They beat the hustle. But, you know,
Yeah, but
it's going to catch up to you.
well, and
And I think that's
thank you,
what's
Elon.
that's
thank
what's
you,
happening
thank
with
you,
DOGE.
Elon, for checking because
catching up.
it's one of those things that the level of corruption there,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not saying necessarily on the United States side, but we as Americans, the United States is not responsible with those things that we give away from start to finish. We delegate outside the United States, and then those people become millionaires off
Right.
of it.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to
Yeah.
pick this up right when we come back.
Have another cup of coffee and get fired up with the Carolina Cabinet, Eastern North Carolina's smartest conservative morning talk show. The smartest hour of talk radio will return after these important messages from our commercial sponsors.
And welcome back to the cabinet. Good morning, everybody.
Good
Welcome.
morning.
Very spirited conversation. We're only on DOGE so
I
far.
know.
We're-
Yeah,
you know,
we
but
got to move it along.
It's just yeah,
Yeah, but you give me
well,
start talking about
know.
USAID and
Well,
you know.
Jim, having
corruption.
been recently here from Pakistan,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the Pakistani government, they're completely straight. There's no
No impropriety.
There's no impropriety at all.
Yeah,
They're just
he can't
yeah,
you know
yeah. It's like
confirm or deny.
Go ahead.
So this actually made me remember about like in 2006 we actually had a really bad earthquake back in Pakistan.
I remember.
And like it was 7.8 at magnitude, and
Wow.
we got like a lot of countries actually sent those aids and stuff like that, but they never actually got distributed well. Like even
Yep.
the U.S. actually sent their choppers to actually deliver them, and only that was the aid that was actually delivered properly.
Mm.
Other than that, we don't know where it went, how it goes, and that's how actually it is.
Yep.
Yeah.
Um,
It is that
We need to check everybody.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, and it's rampant everywhere. I think everybody, especially my own people, the
Yeah.
Greek community, we kind of, we look at the Greek government, we're like, yeah, come on.
Yeah,
Like,
come on.
So
Everybody
so-
needs a little rice, a little beans.
So the last one or two little things. So I think we will eventually discover the closed loop
yes.
Yeah.
of yes, our congresswomen and men passed this stuff. It's paid maybe $10 million for a certain thing, but maybe only $1 million spent for program, and $9 million made it back to somebody's pockets.
Yep.
Mm.
You cannot look at our congresswomen and senators and men and say, "Oh, they went in and broke, and now they're millionaires." How did they
Right,
do it?
Right.
And I think we're going to find out how they did, and that's maybe tinfoil hat time. But
Well, I mean,
I-
that's how. I mean, they found out through the freeze. They found out that there was some money that was going to fund federal firefighters. So I
Mhm.
mean, there are some, I guess, some plus sides that you are finding
Yes.
out. Like once you stop money from flowing,
Mm.
then it's like, hold on,
Yeah.
wait, we need that.
We need
money.
that.
Yeah.
And
And-
I think there's going to be more of that that's going to come out, only because, like I said, people aren't doing the due diligence,
Mm.
And then you do have the slumlord effect, and I'm going to use that as an example because when you talk about the money like this and you talk about environmental injustice, then you get to those property management companies where they are getting those federal funds right?
Oh,
However, they're not taking care of those properties
No.
Right.
efficiently.
Yep.
So you have this slumlord thing, and so now they got to justify why they did this, and you still need this. Like, even when it comes down to it, it might even come down where it's going to trickle down into the school systems.
Yeah.
And
Oh yeah, and I
everywhere
think
else.
we're going to
For
find out
sure.
stuff about FEMA.
Yeah,
FEMA
yes.
funds that, and again, those funds that are supposed to be distributed to people who need them, but they never get to the person who needs
No, they
them.
don't.
Mm.
And one piece of good news
Okay.
is at least some people, as they're learning these things, they are beginning to self-educate.
Yeah.
It's like, oh wait, I never realized that. Let me look into it. And so if that is one ray of hope, it's like, yeah, go out there, look at it, see,
Yeah.
See if it
even with
passes
the negative.
smell test. I
Yes.
mean, if I get one more liberal person to tell me, go out and educate yourself, you need to read. It's like, come on, bro. Just what are you talking about?
Yeah.
But I do want to point out that it was stated over and over that none of this DOGE activity is going to affect welfare payments, SNAP benefits. It's not affecting individual. Now, if some money is paid to programs,
Yeah.
it could affect. And I do know of one in Sampson County, which sadly, I think it's a domestic violence type thing, and they lost their fund. Well, their funding is frozen until basically they can sink for their supper at this point. So,
And I hear our friends on the other side and cry wolf with that. But as a business owner, and again, it's business at any level, whether you've got a home for at-risk kids or mothers who might be being abused, these things are all valid, but we still got to be accountable.
That's
We've got,
right. That's right.
and I think that organization most likely, when they're accountable, they say, okay, we got all of
yeah,
our
I don't
I's
think
dotted.
there's going to be a big bar for them to prove, yeah, we're doing
No,
this
no.
right. But there will be some that are going to get swept up.
But
They shouldn't be doing what they're doing.
that's the possibility.
So
That's
we'll
the possibility.
see. So, Carrie, you got anything else to add to this one? We got to move on, but
I know we got to move on.
Jump down to 6.
Yeah, I know we got to move on. I was just gonna say that, like, I don't know how effective things, like, we still have to watch out for, I guess the manipulation of places and people.
Yeah.
Because, like, I was just like, while we were on the show, I saw a message on how the Department of Justice is dropping the charges against the mayor of New York. But prior to us going on the show, I was just reading an article on the mayor of New York telling everyone in New York to be quiet and play nice. So I don't know.
So which is it? Is
To
he
me,
guilty,
it's
innocent,
to
or
me
no?
it sounds kind of suspect. Like,
Yeah.
okay, if you guys play nice and be quiet, then we'll get things done, and I get this
Right.
taken off my back too. So I mean, to me, that tickles on the fraud aspect of
Your
the
spidey
waste.
senses are
Yeah,
up.
and I got to
Yeah.
say, anybody who's scared of fraud, you might want to look at for fraud.
participating. Yeah.
Right.
You know,
Yeah,
I'm just-
you really got to question,
Yeah.
okay, why are you mad at the people looking into the
Yeah.
people that were ripping you off?
Yep. Yeah. That's.
So Maxine Waters trying to get into the Department of Education
Yes.
over the weekend when she snatched that ID from that young man at the front door.
Again, I say.
Come on. Anyway, so
I don't think she was the only one. I think it was like all of Congress.
well, let's
that
talk
were
about some other
Democrats.
people with senility. Trump revoked Biden's security clearance recently.
And I wanted to ask about that because when you have an ex-president, do they maintain top of the top level XZPQ level
So
9 security
I think
clearance G57?
For us lay people, we're never really going to know the answer to that, what they truly have access to. But I think it was tradition that so there's something called a presidential daily briefing. And that is a culmination of like CIA, the military, all kinds of stuff, like what's happening in the world. President Trump gets that every day.
Yeah.
The only reason I know about it is through like 9/11 and learning about what George Bush was privy to and stuff like that. That's what Biden does not get any longer. And Trump says, hey, he doesn't, of course, Trump said something about his mental capacity.
But I mean, like when Trump was when he was taken out of office, right? And Biden came in. Did he maintain? I
Nope.
don't see how he could have maintained it.
Biden
revoked his.
revoked.
Yeah,
Trump.
and I'm sure that
So part of it, I
Obama-
think, is precedent
yeah,
to revoke it, but I think part of it is, I mean, we shouldn't trust somebody that he was referred to by his own inspector general as a kind old man that's forgetful, and
yeah.
his capacity was questioned the last 4 years of his the
Yeah.
whole 4 years of his presidency.
But my more to this point is that, so why are we crying wolf about something that has precedent? It isn't like
Because the headline doesn't get clicks unless you say
I
it.
think it has precedent only because Biden revoked Trump's.
So
and
if the
didn't-
headline,
I don't think I do not know. I probably should have researched this, and I probably will after I stop talking. But
Should've
the revocation, I do believe, like Trump, like Biden revoking Trump was the first.
And
one.
did Trump revoke? Who did he beat?
No.
Obama?
No,
I don't think he did. No,
No, because no. He went again. Yeah, but and go back.
So
I mean,
I
does the
think
next president have the
think
same
about the
security
headline.
clearance?
If the headline said Trump reciprocates Biden decision,
Yeah.
probably not get any clicks. But if it says Trump revokes Biden security clearance, holy crap!
It's doing exactly what it was intended
Yeah.
to do. First of
Yeah.
all, we're talking about it.
Yeah.
One. We also know that the media is there to give bad news
Yeah.
and to get people up in arms because they make more money.
Well, yeah, Politico
Excuse
and
me,
New
every
York
s-
Times.
every
Back to
single time.
Doge.
Yep.
Here
Yeah.
we go again.
Yep.
What
They
was
make
it?
more
$8
money.
million to Politico?
I don't know.
Something.
It was like
But,
seven,
yeah.
$8
There's
million
been so much coming out.
that
Yeah.
the federal
So much. I can't keep
government,
up with all of it.
the federal government was paying for subscriptions to the New York Times and Politico.
Really?
I mean, so essentially, you and I are subsidizing Politico and New York Times to bash conservatives.
Yeah.
But the bigger issue is that we've got regular people that are reading this and they're becoming more anxious, they're becoming more worried, they're joining these groups of activism, and it is all against conservatives. Well, it goes both ways.
Yeah.
So it's not just a conservative thing because it also happens on the Republican side.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But that's what it's for. It's to generate fear, to get people to do whatever it is that whatever the agenda is wants to accomplish.
Well,
and that's what we have to work on dispelling, because Facebook is going to tell us that we should all be very worried about this, that Trump is
Yeah.
petty for revoking his clearance. I would do the same.
Yeah.
I've been around. My father had dementia and Alzheimer's. Love him. He's actually now deceased. But he would start talking about stuff. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, no, Dad. Shut. No,
Yeah, whoosh.
don't,
Yeah.
Whoosh.
yeah,
No, no,
don't
yeah.
say that.
And an ex-president doesn't have the responsibilities of a sitting president.
don't need it.
Why do you need that security clearance?
Let him eat ice
I
cream
think
and play
I
golf.
think precedents, throughout
Yeah.
history
so
should be to
what I
revoke
was
it.
referring
Yeah, I
to
agree.
was what the HUR report, HUR report, revealed that, quote, Biden suffers from poor memory and even in his prime could not be trusted with sensitive information.
Quote unquote.
That was a quote
Said
of
by.
President Trump's Twitter. So hold on. So the quote part, the report part was actually poor memory, and then referred to him in his prime, and then went on to say he's not in his prime anymore.
The bottom line is his clearance was revoked.
It was revoked.
Rightfully so.
Absolutely.
Yeah, not because
That's
and
it.
again,
Yeah.
maybe dementia, whatever, but because it's revoked for all ex-presidents.
Right.
So let me
Well,
ask you,
it's,
because you
it's
mentioned
not revoked for all.
I'm saying it should
they're
be.
not, because
It's
you're
just
not
revoked
read
for
on,
Biden.
and what happens is it's like, because like I was just reading an article because I was trying to find this information, but of course it wouldn't be wildly out
yeah, I
on the
couldn't
net.
find it either.
However, but what it is like there's a matter of courtesy. Like, for example, when 9/11 happened and when everything happened with Osama bin Laden, right? Barack Obama was president at the time. There was a courtesy conversation that would have been held at a higher classification level that he had with, President
with the
Bush.
former presidents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Only because it was a matter of courtesy because,
Right.
I was in this conflict, you're in this conflict, we share this information.
Yeah. But
And-
didn't Obama still at the end of the day revoke, or was
No,
No,
like
Bush
I
did
believe
not.
the precedent was set with Biden to Trump, and
Really?
then it's been it's.
Well,
I don't know, to
remember,
me, this is
Biden
going
was
back
not
to that
running
tit
his
for
own
tat
White
thing I
House.
like to say.
Yeah.
I don't care who on this planet thinks, but Biden was never in charge of his own White
Yeah.
House. So this had to be functionaries, unelected people
Again,
making these decisions to revoke Trump's access.
Yeah.
So Trump just says, hey, you
I
don't need
look at it
either.
like I would business. A
Yeah.
new CEO takes over, you change the password.
Yes.
There you go.
Yes.
Not because you don't trust the old CEO, but because that's just you
You
switch
sell
out.
your house,
Yeah.
or buy a house,
Yeah.
you change the locks.
You,
I
yeah,
mean,
you change the locks. I
not
don't
that big
trust
a
the
deal.
realtor.
Speaking of that, real estate.
Yeah.
What?
Did you see the forms changes on some of these offer to purchases where, like, it even says, did you change passwords or reset to default, like the
No.
smart home stuff? Yeah, sorry, I just had to I just
Okay.
took
Which you
Squirrel.
should.
Yeah.
You
Yeah, you should.
Well, I
But
mean,
I
but
can
you
see why
also
you
know how to
wouldn't
hold the
think to do
button and
that.
reset it.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
it's
all,
not,
you know.
But it's
you're-
like
you're
in the contract
moving,
now.
Or I know, but I'm
That's-
saying that's a good thing. Just like they've got in the camera. I mean, in the
Yeah.
contract,
Mhm.
don't watch the people walking through your house.
Yeah.
I mean, they could be listening.
they're
to
going
the
to.
conversation. Oh, 100.
Oh, yeah.
Like now you have to
100%.
Well,
now you have to
it's-
prep your client like shut
Yeah.
up, don't say
A
anything.
quick story
Not
about
even in
that.
the driveway.
Yeah.
I was looking at a house, right, and this was back when everything was crazy, and I'm walking through the house and it's a mess, and there's like crayon writing on the walls and holes busted, and so yeah, as I'm walking through, I was like, they want such and such money. It broke down.
Mhm.
What's this?
It was pre-seasoned,
How about-
Josh.
yeah,
That's what
it
that
was, and it was heavily seasoned,
Yes.
heavily, and
Just
so
for
yeah.
you
Did they
to
hear
come
you?
in.
Yeah.
Did they hear you?
Oh, I hope so.
Oh, you
I
hope
hope,
so.
I hope they did. It was me. I said it.
It wouldn't have mattered.
Paint the walls for
when
me.
you were looking
Yeah.
at it, they could have left trash everywhere.
Well,
and
they
it would
did in the
sell.
household in
Yeah.
like 2 days, and I'm like, are you
Absolutely.
kidding me?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Psh.
I
Somebody
would've left
said
the
they were
walls
going to come
exactly
and,
the same, too.
and clean that house. That's why.
Yeah.
It wasn't
Mm.
required.
No, you didn't have to do it.
Mm-mm.
Came with the crowns and everything.
Yeah, there you go.
All
All
right.
right.
So,
So what's
where to
next?
next? You want to talk about
Uh,
ice?
The end.
The end? You
Look
want?
at the time.
Oh yeah, that's the wrong time.
It's close enough to me.
Well, we're about 40 minutes in, so
Oh,
you know,
okay.
yeah, we got
got a
about-
little bit
yeah.
of time.
you know,
so-
I'm forever rushing.
I
things.
know you
Okay,
got
yeah,
your
yeah. Well,
8
she
o'clock
okay. So I'm
thing.
just gonna say,
Yeah.
Semone with an E Pemberton was early tonight,
I
which she's
was.
always punctual. She's always
Thank
shown
you.
me up for that.
I was
But
late, but I have board
Pastor
meeting.
Josh was late, and I
Yep.
was like, "What? He's always." You must have had
I
a
know.
board meeting.
He's
He
always
was
busy
speeding
too.
in right
Yeah.
behind me. I was
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh.
Hey, Carrie, sweetheart, you're just always late.
A little bit.
It's
I
fine.
am.
It's
That's
fine.
it.
A little late's on time
and,
for you.
Thank
and I
you.
am learning
There
that
you go.
Pakistani time is Greek time squared.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's-
So
he's-
is that the same? Well, let me not.
It's
It is.
You know,
It
yeah,
is?
I was
is.
raised in Haiti,
Yeah.
and let me
Yeah.
say Haitian time is
Yeah.
Greek time squared.
Yeah.
It's
Oh, yeah,
just
it's
you
just-
know.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're all
I'll
on
be
the
there-
same time.
yeah, I'll
Well,
be there at 8
apparently not
You're
me.
not-
you're
not
on
three.
that
Y'all
schedule.
three are on the same.
I'll be there at
time.
8 a.m.
Yeah.
and I might
Well,
show up today.
Well,
Like I-
Jim and I are on the same time, and then everybody
Yes,
else.
everybody
Got
else
it.
on a different
Yeah.
clock. Like I
Got
asked
it,
Bishop
yeah.
last week, "Are you time blind?"
Yeah, I'm like,
Because that's what it's called, time blindness.
Yeah.
When they say that other cultures are they spend more time to get to know
yeah.
and small talk.
It
and
is.
it's true.
It is. It's very communal and
But it
friends.
doesn't make
and-
me a villain for saying you need to be at work at 11 a.m. with your apron on, ready to roll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. That's me.
Which,
Yeah, but there's factors: traffic,
I mean, don't
friends,
Wake up
food,
early.
Wake
Yep.
up. You
No,
know.
Plan
Simone,
for it.
This is Simone with an
Yeah.
E relentless over
Yes.
here.
Yeah, yeah.
Like she's not
I'm a
giving any
driver.
safe
I'm
quarter
a
to
driver.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Not on my clock.
Don't open
And
up
I-
a
and
sub
I get
shop
personally
in
offended when you're
Italy,
late.
Okay?
Yeah.
what
And
was that, Carrie?
I said, don't open up a sub shop in Italy.
No, not me.
No.
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 Domani.
Yeah. It's
Did
true.
you spend time over there? How long?
Yeah, 3 years.
3 years?
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Loved Italy.
Oh.
Yep, Domani.
Find you any Italian boys?
No,
No.
Yeah.
I was married.
But
Oh, well.
Were you
did
happy?
you notice how many Italians smoke?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I mean, they all. It's like there's so many people that smoke. Like you go outside of the United States, it's crazy. It's like everybody. You know. Anyway, so I diverge. That's my
so
rabbit
many
trail.
squirrels in this
Well,
conversation.
Simone, obviously she
Yeah.
was happy because she didn't even respond.
Oh, it just
Okay.
we don't.
But
We're on the
somebody
radio.
says, "Are you married?" It's like, "Are you happy?" You know,
I'm so sorry.
All right, GOP. What are we talking about?
Yes, GOP.
We got-
Convention March 8th.
our whole county is up for. We're gonna so. Okay, so everybody listening, if you're a registered Republican, you are welcome to come. It is March 8th at what? Doors open at like 8:00 in the
I
morning.
think something like that.
The GOP just announced it on their Facebook page, so
Oh, good.
it's March 8th. It's going to be at Freedom Christian out there on 301.
Oh yeah.
So it's a
Yep.
big venue. Anybody registered Republican can come. You sign in.
You have
they
to show
try-
ID.
Yeah, you have to show ID, and just like voting, and they're
Yeah.
going to check the voter rolls and make sure you are registered to come in. Because as a registered Republican in this county, you have a vote.
Yes.
So,
So it's not just that you're welcome to come. We're asking you to come
Okay.
because you need to be there to vote for finish.
so what happens at convention is you're going to vote for individuals or a slate of people that are going to run your Republican Party for the next 2 years, right? It's a 2-year
Yes.
term.
Yeah.
2 year
years.
term.
So it's very, very important. If you were happy, unhappy with the outcome of last election, we have President Trump, so most Republicans are happy about that. But locally and state, we were like on par, or we lost ground at the state level.
Yeah, we did.
Council of State, we lost Lieutenant Governor's seat.
Yep.
We lost the governor's seat. but we previously had lieutenant governor.
Yeah.
We lost. I know we lost attorney general. We lost that one. We did gain.
We lost our supermajority.
We did
Right.
lost supermajority. We got Dave
In the
Bullock
Senate.
as a state auditor, and
We
we're
did.
still waiting on Mr. Bullock to come through Fayetteville and Cumberland
Yes.
County as he promised. We cannot wait for our own little version of DOGE.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got Luke Farley.
And we got Luke Farley, the labor commissioner. So you'll see his face, and he'll be the new Sherry Berry.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and
In
he
your
was
elevators.
he was actually endorsed by her.
Really?
Yes, he
Yeah.
was.
He had
Yeah,
he
I
had
love
a good
that.
race,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, he
he's
did.
a super guy. He's been down here quite a bit, and we'll have him on the show. But so for Cumberland County, though, I think what a lot of people don't realize is that we have about 40,000 Republicans in Cumberland County, but they don't vote. We need your support. We need your help. If you want to see things change in your neighborhood, your community, your school board, you got to come to the convention. You need to see who's in charge of your party. You need to put a face to the name.
Yeah.
So if we're voting on these
Slates.
then what is that? How do I find out as a Republican? How do I find out about the people who are? Do they actually run to do those things?
So it's a minor, like, all
Or am
right,
I just told this
It's
is
not
who
like a
you're?
state senate or county commission race. We'll
Yeah.
just put it like that.
Yeah.
It's
I wish
not
it
that
was.
intense. I wish it were.
Yeah.
Because it would really look.
You can
I've
find
said
out
it
who the
before.
individuals are.
You have to clear the clown car of any
Oh my God.
organization, whether it's governmental, it's nonprofit, whatever. You can't function if you have clowns in the car. And so I will, on the cabinet website, I will put through our Facebook and all, I will put like the slates. I'll at least put reposts from the GOP page so people can find it there. So if you go to thecarolinacabinet.com, you'll have some information. But what you'll see is how many people's on it? About 9 people each slate?
I
It's
don't
8 or
know.
9
It's-
people,
yeah.
but there's got to be a chair, a vice chair,
Vice
a
chair.
second vice chair,
At-large members.
at-large members, and at-large just
Treasurer.
means you
Yeah,
just
and secretaries like a normal
Yeah,
board of
yeah.
directors.
yeah, regular
on
board of
board.
directors, and the GOP has meetings that are supposed to be run as Robert's Rules of Order,
Right.
A point of order and
Right.
Yeah.
gavel it, and this and that. So
Bylaws.
Yep. Yeah, setting in bylaws, votes,
once the
majorities.
machine is running, okay, then you have the chance of getting conservatives elected in Cumberland County. We're a very blue county, and we have been for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
Like, look at our county commission race. We had 1 Democrat and 2 Republicans in those seats, incumbents. We got all 3 brand new seats of 1 Democrat and 2 Republicans.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the Democrat Kirk Devier became chairman of the county commission. And then our guys, Henry Tyson and Pavan Patel, they're just the new Republican
Yeah,
guys.
yeah.
But we didn't move the needle as far as the majority goes on commission.
Yeah.
But
So-
I am glad that we got those.
I am
No,
too. I'm
I-
like,
Man.
and I'm glad we got
I-
Kurt because
I'm
I could
glad-
love Kurt.
I'm
Yeah.
glad
And
you
Kurt.
got all
I love-
3
I
of
love
them.
Kurt.
As having run against them, I'm telling you right now, they look very tired.
Yeah.
They look. I'm proud of these boys. They are working very, very hard.
Yep.
And that's why they look tired.
Yeah.
But
Well, that's it.
and I
That's-
will say too, I'm on the Civic Center Commission, and those boys have been in those meetings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I keep saying those boys like they're kids, but I mean these men have been
Yeah.
paying
They're
attention.
dedicated.
Yep. They're
Yes.
dedicated.
Yeah.
They
I
really
love
are.
it.
So.
So at the Republican GOP, we will be voting in a new what I'll call board of directors.
Exactly.
Yes. Yes. That's a great way to put
president,
that.
vice president.
That is a really good way to put it. I
Yeah.
think when I first came around the party, I was so confused with precincts and slates, and
yeah.
yeah.
and I'm like, what is
It's
all
all
this?
jargon.
Yeah, it
that
really
a
is.
lay person doesn't necessarily understand, no matter how long you've been in it.
Yeah.
So yes, it's a new board of directors. I would even encourage people who are not quote political, which you hear a lot of,
Oh yeah.
to still come, because it's not just about. Let me preface this. It is about Republicans being elected, 100%. But there's also action that Republicans can take in the community
Yeah.
throughout the year when there's not an election going on. There's forward motion that we can make when there's not an election going on, and who you elect for that board of directors determines whether that will even come to
Yep.
fruition.
And get your face seen. Get
Right.
out there and get to know
Well,
who,
and
who
I-
these
And
people
meet the
are.
people.
Meet them.
Yeah.
What does our government do when we invade a country? I
Wow.
hate to put it like this, but we go for the hearts and minds of the people.
Yeah.
You do not win hearts and minds of the people by only showing up on election day.
No, yeah, that's
And that's what Semone is hinting at, and I'm just going to say it. If you're not active in your community, you don't belong running for office. Number one. Number
Yeah.
two, you're not going to move the needle forward. Your neighbors aren't going to know you better.
yeah.
They're just going to know that guy down there's got a certain kind of flag, and all right.
Yeah.
You know, you have. I mean, I've said before, Simone, you do so much. I don't know how you.
Well, and I'll go back to we were talking about Kurt. I mean, he was an individual that I knew before I ever knew him.
Right.
You
he
know?
showed up at everything.
All the events. I
Yeah.
mean, the ribbon
Everywhere I
cutting
was,
for
he was
this.
there. Yes.
I see him everywhere,
Yeah.
and not just the cutting the ribbon for Sager
Right.
Stadium. I mean, like for a homeless venue over
Yes.
here or this small business over there. And so that's why I can say, hey, whether he's Republican or Democrat, he's
That's
got
how
my
he got
support.
He's
Republican
for the
votes.
people.
That's
Yeah,
it.
he's for the
Right.
people.
That's
That's
it.
it.
That's
So
it.
that's the thing. At the end of the day, you have to be for
for
the
the
people.
people. Right.
Yeah.
And
Because
to me,
ultimately it's about people.
Yeah.
Yes,
it
we
is
want to be
ultimately
elected,
about people.
but it's about people and what we're going to do for not just people. Because when you say people, it's like this, it's this blind group,
Yeah.
you know. But people is you.
Yeah.
It's
You're
your
the-
children.
you're the people.
It's your
Yes.
house. I
Yeah.
mean, your neighbor. You know, your family.
And it's
whatever.
everything. Your parks,
It's
your
everything.
taxes,
It's
your
everything.
roads, your
and
water.
we have to focus and look inward. Act locally.
Yeah.
You, me, and you don't have much sway with 4 or 5 votes for the presidential election.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when we have people running and winning city council seats with 6 votes or 2 votes in
Yeah.
Hope
Yeah.
Mills,
Or one vote.
don't
yeah.
tell me your vote doesn't count.
Yeah.
That's right.
But if you want the right people in these seats, you must support the party
Yeah.
to help drive the vote. So the party's job is to get Republicans to go vote.
Yeah.
That's their soul. They are a machine. They are going to call you, text you, knock on your door.
Oh, I know.
Hey, you know,
I got 'em.
we just went through
I
all
got
that.
'em.
Yeah.
But then the candidate's job is to pick up that momentum and say, this is why you should vote for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Republicans want you to just vote red. But I really want more people locally to know why you should vote
Why? Yeah.
for that guy or this
Yeah.
lady or whatever
And not
else.
just a political speech. Like,
And-
what are you
yeah.
actually going to accomplish?
Yep.
Yeah.
And even a plan. Let me just put it. Don't give me a. Again, you heard me say I think last week that talking about the plan isn't doing the plan.
Oh,
Thinking about the plan
Yeah.
isn't doing the plan. Planning to do the plan isn't
Right.
Yeah.
doing the plan. So what's the
Right.
plan?
Yeah.
What's the plan? And now how are we going to do it?
And
Right.
usually you have some kind of track record of being able to take something from plan state
You
to
have to.
execution. Because people talk about plans all
Yes.
the time. I mean,
Yeah.
it's part of a political speech. I did it myself.
Yeah.
However, you should be able to look at the habits of that person
Yep.
and see if they're even the type
Yeah.
Right.
to
to
be
get
able
that-
to get something
to
done.
get it done.
Yeah.
Or are they just going to talk about a plan?
They're
'Cause,
gonna
I
talk
mean,
about it.
90%, probably 99% of people who are out there are just going to give you a plan.
Right.
I-
And it sounds good
Well,
in your ear.
They do.
and I would rather you talk about a solution versus a plan.
100%.
Because a
Yeah.
solution includes the plan,
That's
yeah,
right.
it does.
That's right.
and then it includes any possible.
And a cherry
And-
on top.
yes.
Show me your background.
There you
where
go.
you have,
Come on.
put it together and you've
where
got
you know
it.
how to add 2
Yep.
and 2.
Right.
Yep.
Yes.
Or you can bring the right people together.
Yeah.
Make
Yes.
sure you can bring the money in.
Yes.
All of it.
You can run the
All of
business.
it.
You can, all
Absolutely.
of these things is
Absolutely.
imperative.
And somebody to break the cycle of being in love with consultants.
well, that
Because we have, I don't know how many plans shelved on the county and city bookshelves.
Listen,
about
I'm all for
different things.
consultants because sometimes you do need that.
If it's
outside
part
view.
of a continued momentum.
Well, I had a however
You know,
after that.
you did.
However,
Okay.
However, and look,
However.
she's lifting the finger up,
Middle
y'all.
Yeah,
finger.
for those of you
However.
on the radio, I'm getting a look right
I'm on
now.
camera.
So go ahead.
However.
now
Yeah.
that's the let me finish.
That's okay.
The however is that when you get consultants, there should be a certain period of time of action.
Yeah.
And that's the part that we're missing. So we get the consultant, they give us their report, if it's a good consultant, that is.
Mm-hmm.
And they give us information that maybe we didn't know, actionable things that we can do, and we do it within a certain amount of time.
Mm-hmm. Well,
and that way we don't waste our
good example. The
$30,000.
county schools just did
Yep.
their, re-up their survey.
Yep.
Although
Yep.
unfortunately, it went from $500 million now to $805 million
$1 million, yeah.
Mm.
to repair our schools and get them up to par. But that is they presented a very actionable, like, ABC type,
Yep.
different grades of disrepair, whatever else, and this is what y'all can do right now. So I understand that, and I hope to heck we just get some good people. But back to GOP convention.
Yes.
If you're registered Republican, we would love to see you. It's 8 a.m. to noon on March 8th. Freedom Christian Center out there on 301.
Yeah. You must bring an ID.
Bring your ID,
Even though
please.
you said it, you will not be allowed in
Yeah.
Yeah,
at all
Yeah.
without an ID.
yeah, we're the party that wanted it, so we gotta stick
Back
right
it
by
up.
it. I
Back
mean,
it up. Back it up.
you need to
And
vote, buy
what will,
liquor.
because I have no clue, what will be going on that day?
So you will hear. So the first thing that happens is you come in and we say, okay, where do you live? And we're going to try to organize what's called precincts.
Okay.
And the precinct is where you go vote. So if you live near Cliffdale Road and you vote at Cliffdale Rec, we're going to put you in whatever
23 something.
whatever
Yeah.
code that is.
Yeah.
We'll CC whatever.
Yeah.
And what'll happen is we'll want you to meet essentially your neighbors that live nearby, in the hopes that someone will organize that precinct and then maybe help get people out to vote. So that's the first thing that happens. And then as the morning goes on, there'll be speakers. There'll be people from our Council of State that'll come speak to us. And then you'll hear from the slates that are running. You'll hear from I think the current board is basically running for re-election, and then you've got a new slate. So you'll have the current chair,
Well,
new chair.
there's got to be new people.
Well, yeah, because they all quit.
Yeah. Oh.
But
I didn't mean to open that up.
Well, we are. So just FYI,
I was wondering how safe this thing is going to be, but
we are having. So the head of the other slate is Bruce Sykes.
Okay.
He's a local businessman.
Full disclosure, I'm on that
And
slate.
Simone is on
Yeah,
Bruce
as an
Sykes'
at-large
slate.
member.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And at large just means you're not tied to one precinct.
Yeah,
That's right.
Okay.
That's
so
right.
you get to roam.
Yes.
Yeah.
I prefer that.
Yeah. You
Hate
prefer
being
that.
tied though.
Yeah.
Oh Lord. I hope your boyfriend's not listening to that.
Oh, he's listening.
Oh, he's listening. Oh Lord. So you get to sound like me, Simone. I don't like that.
Keep
No,
going.
you got to be better than me.
Oh, Jesus.
So, but no, so we're going to have Bruce Sykes on the show, and I think that's next week, February 7th. Yeah, so we'll have him next week on the show. I've already reached out to the current board to see if they want to send some representatives to come, and I hope they do.
I hope
I
they
mean,
do too.
this
So
is
there'll just be 2 slates.
2 slates,
Okay.
and hopefully we'll just be able to vote for A or B.
Yeah.
Now, the last election of the last convention, someone did make a motion to break the slates and vote individually. It got turned down, and then we still voted. So basically what would happen is you could bust the slates up, and both people running for chair, both people running for vice chair, they would have to be voted on individual. It's a lot of minutia, but look, there's coffee, there's probably snacks. I know there's snacks.
8 to noon, there better
There's,
be snacks.
well, I think there's Duck Donuts.
Yeah,
actually.
Duck Donuts,
That's
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
'Cause 8 to noon, that's some time there.
Yeah, it is.
Especially
But
the 8. Yeah.
at the minimum, you need to meet. If you're always wondering, well, why don't we do X, Y, and Z in Fayetteville? Come out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come meet
How
the people.
well? So we got 40,000 voters. How well is this thing attended?
Shoot, I think we had 75 people
Yeah.
Really?
last convention. Yeah, it's because people. Number one, people don't know.
Yeah.
People don't know how important it is,
Yeah. That
and
part.
and
Yeah.
they don't know how to get involved. And listen, frankly, being in politics is communication.
Yeah.
You have to be a decent person, and you got to be able to communicate that out. And when you stop communicating with the population, you don't make it an active thing that you need to do every day. People just kind of fizzle away.
They'll roam. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So I really encourage everybody to come. I look forward to seeing everybody.
And oh man.
Yep.
Are you hitting the time?
Yes.
I hit it, yeah.
In the
That's
middle
it.
of my part.
I
don't
know,
want to cut
right?
you off though.
This just out.
I know. I wanted to hang up or be done anyway.
Yeah.
You
so.
want to be done? You
Yeah.
exhausted with
We'll
that?
call it a wrap.
See, she hasn't been on in so long that
I know.
a little dose of me
I got-
she's over with. So you know, so
A little
you know,
of you goes a long way.
it really- Well,
I'm
our
opting
60
out.
minutes is up for the on-air anyway. I want to say a thank you to our on-air cabinet members, Pastor Joshua Goodman,
Yes, sir.
Simone with an E. Pemberton,
That's it.
and Ms. Carrie J.
Be smart, vote.
Oh, come on. You know what you want to say.
I know.
Fire to Unipart.
There
There
you
you
go,
go.
baby. And to our special executive producer, Jim.
Jim.
Just give us a wave.
Jim,
So he's
Jim,
still here.
Jim.
So to our audience, I hope you'll do us a favor and take time this week to visit one of our commercial sponsors and let them know you heard their message right here on the Carolina Cabinet. If you do somehow miss an episode of our top-rated show,
Top rated.
you can find us on your favorite podcast broadcaster, Apple, Spotify, Google, Audible. We're kind of everywhere.
Everywhere.
I would think so.
Go.
But now look for us online at
Always
thecarolinacabinet.com. You can find all of our videos and links. Thanks again for tuning in this morning. Until next time, we are
The Carolina Cabinet.
Cabinet.